This is Your Life is in Your Hands with Kenneth Lagerstrom. We encourage your participation in our program, so please call in to 1-866-472-5795. Again, that's 1-866-472-5795. If you have a question or comment about the program, you may also send your email to voiceamerica@humanhand.com. Now, back to Ken Lagerstrom.
Welcome back to Your Life is in Your Hands and an introduction to palmistry and hand analysis. With me today is author and longtime chirologist Jennifer Hirsch. And we'll be opening up the lines again in a bit, so to answer your hand-related questions. So email them to voiceamerica@humanhand.com or give us a shout on our toll-free line at 866-472-5795. So, Jen, you still with me?
I am, Ken. I'm
there
right
you
here.
are, yep. So, yeah, we were just chatting about some of the different systems of hand analysis and how there's 20 years ago or 30 years ago, there was so little to choose from. You know, there was basically the Vedic and Chinese and Western European, and for some of the main systems. And now it seems to have branched out, and people have taken their own research, their own systems developed out of the research. And it seems now we've got dozens of different methods of analyzing the hands. Would you see the same?
Yes, there are a number of differing systems, and the interesting paradox is that they all work. It's a curious fact with many healing modalities, really, that, just to use as an example, let's say, for example, a liver point in acupuncture might be a lung point in reflexology on the foot, for example, and they're two very valid systems and sustainable systems for healing as healing therapies, and they both are most effective. So I'd say one really makes a selective choice, steeps in a system of preference, mine, of course, being the 5-element system, and one way really into the psyche of the person who you are trying to assist. So we don't vote and say, my way is any better than any other way. Although the traditional Western palmistry so-called system does lack system in the research I've done and the many, many books I have in my collection, where it's a matter of trying to remember all sorts of random markings with random meanings that don't seem to really have much congruency. So I think traditional Western palmistry, although we have many beautiful gems that we draw from, we've moved away from the term palmistry into the term chirology so as to present something that has evolved as a psychology rather than a divinatory tool and a fatalistic technique, let's say.
I find some professionals use the term hand analysis the same way, avoiding the word palmistry.
Yes, yeah. I think it's a little bit more American. From, being in South Africa here, we don't use the term hand analysis so much. We'd say hand reading and chirology. Those are the popular terms here.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, out here it's more hand analysis, but then, of course, it gets mixed up with poker.
Yes.
So with the 5-element system, how does that work? What's the initial overview or breakdown, for people who don't know, what are the 5 elements?
Well, the elements themselves are our basic earth, water, fire, air, and ether, or chi, we like to call it. And these represent the physical, the emotional, the vocational, the mental, and the spiritual realms of human experience. So this gives us a very strong diagnostic context for our work. What that really says, what that really brings up is a sort of an integrative system. So the component parts of our human experience, our health, our finances, our home and family life, are represented by the earth element. That is our fundamental, our most basic, the criteria for our stability. And then we go into what it's called the principle of graduated materiality. It's quite a hefty concept, but it's quite simple really, and that is that the elements resonate at different frequencies from earth, which is the most dense and intangible, to chi, which is obviously the most intangible and indefinable. So we go up from earth, being dense and physical, to the emotional realm, water. Water you can touch, but it does not have form unless it's held by earth. And the emotional life is represented by the water element. So in the diagnostic context of the 5 elements, the water realm would represent our emotional life, something of our sexual life, our social life, our relationships, our intimacy, our friendships, and so on, and also our emotional balance. our emotional stability. And then we go a grade up from that to fire, that you can see, but it also has no form. And there we discuss our self-expression, our life work, our life purpose, our career, the energy we have, available energy we have for living, essentially. So that's strongly to do with our creativity and our creative expression during the course of our lives. And then still within this context, we then come to air, which is our invisible element without one cannot touch, nor does it have any visible component, and that represents our mind. So there we're talking the intellect, our interests, our intellectual propensities, our communication styles is very important there.
Right.
The air element being linked to our throat chakra, how we speak. And then we take it into the spiritual realm, so which is the chi, the ki or the prana, or there are many, many different names for ki and chi, as you well know.
That's right.
So we've got this magnificent system, really, that gives us a safety net as therapists, as counselors, using the hands to contain for our clients, for our people who come to us for help, all aspects of their lives. So in the course of a session, which in my case is close to 2 hours, we could say we at least touch on every aspect of that person's life. Obviously, it's not going to be a quick fix, but we will at least address and dialogue a little of each of those component parts of the person's life.
Right.
And that is where palmistry, for example, lacks, because palmistry does not necessarily go into the person's spiritual life. To give you an idea.
Right.
This is more a latter-day kind of a significant criteria of life, where we're all searching spiritually, and we have our strong emphasis in our world today on spiritual development and spiritual growth. So, and that's what I personally love about chirology, is the strong chi thing, which is in the name and the word itself, the chirology, which I've played on a bit in my book, which I've recently published. So I love the spiritual context of it. So really, a hand reading is a very spiritual experience. It's a very holistic experience, while also dealing with the practical components of people's lives.
Right. So for your clients then, is that why they would come to see you, or what's the point of them going to get their hands analyzed?
Oh, they come, the primary reason people come is either relationships or career, vocational problems. What is my life purpose? I hate my job. What should I be doing? What do my hands say about the job and the environment I'm best suited to? And they're very helpful in that regard, as I'm sure you'll agree. In our particular system, we look at the shape of the hand in combination with the skin texture, that binary analysis, which gives us some kind of a clue as to the environment to which the person is best suited, as our point of departure into refining what specific, whether it's right, left brain work, whether it should be, in an artistic field or in a more, perhaps a business world and so on. And then, of course, they come also for crisis within relationships or compatibility. I get a lot of that.
Okay.
Then you've got people who come that are in spiritual crisis or health crisis or financial crisis. And then you get a whole bunch of people who come along out of sheer curiosity. They have no crisis. They're just coming along for the fun of it.
So they're either...
And I also have quite a number of clients who bring their teenage children who have subject choices to make.
Okay.
They're changing grades at school, and they're now required to stream into a particular field, whether it's computer science or art or music or whatever it might be. So it has to be across the board, really, a full spectrum of reasons why people come.
So either curiosity or for the fun of it, and or for the life coaching.
Yes, I'd say life coaching is a good umbrella.
We've got a caller here with a question. We've got Trish from California. Hi, Trish.
Hi.
Hi there. Welcome.
I took a handwriting analysis a long time ago, and it is very interesting. And I felt like, there's an experience that I had I'd really like to share. I'm a nurse.
Yes.
And it's actually about hands. I was at work one day, and this man had a call from his son-in-law stating that he had a fire in the house, and that he had picked up a metal trash can without any protection and got these burns.
On his hands?
On his hands, yes. And he carried it outside. and I had heard about this team called the Firebird Doctor team, and by calling their number, which is 818-332-6445, they started a process that actually took away the pain in a half hour, and also the burns healed very, very rapidly. And so I feel as though I need to get this number out. It's free, a free service that can be accessed all over the world, and I want to see if everybody could possibly put this number into their phone.
Okay, well, why don't you give us that number one more time?
818-332-6445, and they have a website. It's called fireburndoctor.com.
Great. Well, thanks for the info, Trish.
Yeah, oh, my pleasure, and thank you.
Okay, most welcome. So, yeah, one thing interesting there is with the burns. The man had burns on his hands. Sometimes we'll go to analyzing those. But right now we've got to go to another break, and we'll be back in about 3 minutes.